Okay, it's 6 days since I put the pressure filters into the filter system, and it has definitely made a difference with the clarity. But whether it will continue to get clearer from this, because it's certainly not perfect. When I had the vortex and the 3-chamber filter, the water was crystal clear right down to the bottom. I didn't realise what a good performance the vortex and the brushes and the Japanese matting were. They must have been taking an incredible amount of waste out and algae. And I mean, I still only had a 55 watt UV then, but definitely a difference. Please comment and let me know if you think it will continue to get clearer, because I'm keeping my fingers crossed it will. But definitely a difference. Just in response to a couple of comments, one was the weir was sitting 1/2 inch too high, proud of the sieve, and it should be flush. Well, that's only because I reduced the flow rate to accommodate the 2 tempers, because as I've explained in previous videos, I only want 5,000-ish, a bit more going through each tempest. So I've increased the flow rate just to demonstrate that it does go flush. But we installed this, don't forget, before, when we thought it could be compatible with a 3-bay filter. So I'm just turning the flow rate back down now, and the weir will rise for obvious reasons. But I can't run at high flow rates to keep that weir flush as it should be. Right, that's down to 60%. I could have the weir flush at 60% on this 20,000 litre an hour pump. All I need to do, the overflow pipe's adjustable, so all I'd need to do is push the overflow pipe down 1/2 inch, and the weir just finds the water level of the pond. So that would be another way. The other comment was about the slow flow rate, that the water's green because the water isn't going through the UVs fast enough, and the algae's having more time to reproduce. But basically, I thought the same thing. That then I had a bit of a disagreement with my son about it, because he said no, the slower the flow rate, the more efficient the UV is. So I googled it, and my son was right. It actually says the slower the rate will result in a higher UV dose. The higher flow rates require a longer UV chamber. The slower the flow, the longer the water stays in contact with the UV lamp, and the higher the dosage the algae will receive. So it is correct, according to Google, that UVs perform better on slower flow rates. Now, talking about flow rates, the old system I had, the water was coming around the vortex and into the 3-chamber filter, and I had a 12,000 litre an hour pump in the end filter on top of alpha grog. Now, half of the water from the T-piece was going underground and back into the return pipe bonded to the side of the pond. The other half was going down the waterfall. So I was probably running at about 10,000 litres an hour then, given the what you've got to knock off for the gravity for it going up the slope. So the water was crystal clear at 10,000 litres an hour with the old system. It must be a lack of filtration. Now, I could add another filter here in between. The water is still clearing. I'll give it another week and see if it continues to clear bit by bit by bit. But if it doesn't, if it remains so I can only see 3 foot down, whereas before it was crystal clear, I could see to the bottom, I may add another filter. But your thoughts and advice will be greatly appreciated, because there is room to add another filter in between the 2 pressure filters. Now, bear in mind, I bought this second hand for 280 quid, and that's all I expected to fork out. And given that the 3-bay filter then wasn't compatible, we had to think quickly. That's why we ended up with 2 Tempers and the Vary pump, because the fish had been without any filtration at all for 2 or 3 days. So we had to rig something up pretty quick that was going to be reasonably effective. So if I do need to add any extra filtration, any thoughts or advice would be greatly appreciated. There is room in between these 2, in front of these 2 pressure filters, as I just said. I was thinking of putting a moving bed there, in a small moving bed in a square tank, but if the water isn't clearing by this time next week, I'm going to have to think of something else. A bead filter would probably work, or one big heavy duty pressure filter that can come from the pump into the big pressure filter and then into the 2 small ones and then up to the Tempers. Because I'm on a budget, I've spent about £1,200 more than I expected to. So that's the questions that I've replied to, and hopefully the water will continue to clear, and I won't need to put extra filtration in apart from a moving bed, but we'll see. They can only go away and chew it now and then come back. It's coming up now, big bomb. It's not finished chewing. It's all gone, boy. It's all gone. Are you watching Fish Rocks? They've also become insatiably hungry as well, since I don't know if it's the pumice or something like that that's done something to the water through the bakki shower, but they're insatiably hungry. I've got to be careful how much food I'm giving them. Just before I get comments regarding a moving bed, can't run on this system. That's not what that wasn't the plan, because I've got this small external pump. This pipe here is a return pipe to the pond that I've just blocked off with a rubber blank. So the plan would be to, instead of that being a return pipe, that would be an inlet into the bottom of a moving bed, then there'd be a plastic mesh shelf, and then there'd be the K1, and then the pump will be mounted at the top and connected to another flexi that will go underground and come out. I'll knock a couple of rocks out and it would come out next to where the return pipe is from the bakki showers. Roxanne, you've been fed. Stop eating the fish food. So thanks for watching. Your support is greatly appreciated. I'll give it another week and see how clear it is. I'll do another video, another update. And thanks for watching. Pomfret's Pond.